Hello, denizens of the internet. Welcome to Worldwide Developers Conference 19. I'm going to be recording this live, and then I'm going to tape it all together the way that you expect so we can avoid all the nonsense. Stay tuned. Oh, it's starting. Boom, boom, boom. We've got some animated... Ooh. I'm going to be doing screen grabs as we go along here. Apple has got some good style. My feet go boom, boom, boom. I can't play the music, you're just going to have to experience it through my dancing. The monkey's brain exploded. I'd like to thank my G85 for showing up for this particular video because it has unlimited recording as opposed to my G9, which is limited to 30 minutes, and I think this is going to be an hour and a half. I'm cutting this down from whatever this is going to be down to something that will be enjoyable and short for you. So I know many of you don't even watch these anymore. They only watch my versions of this, which is, you're very smart. Tim Cook takes the stage with his Buddhist greeting. Now he's welcoming first-timers to the WWDC. Apple makes the best products in the world. We're waiting for one specific piece of hardware. Okay, so now they're reviewing the stuff that they've rolled out since the last presentation. Apple Arcade, 100 new games, but I don't hear anybody talking about this, so maybe I need to investigate that. Oh, it's not available yet. That's why we haven't seen it yet. Now they're going to do an Apple TV bit promoting For All Mankind, the guy who did Battlestar Galactica. The new one, not the old one. So the premise here is that the Soviets hit the moon first and the Americans are going for the rest of the universe. And Tim has already seen the entire season and he loves it. What a shock. This is a terrible start. Okay, so now they're talking about Apple Music that's being delivered over Apple TV. tvOS. Again, nothing to do with the programmers who are there. Why are these showing a product that the programmers can't access? It's the best music experience on television. Now he's talking about Apple Arcade. That's something that is of interest to the programmers. They're extending control to the Xbox controller and the Sony PlayStation controller, and so far that is the biggest applause that I have ever heard, over the last 6 presentations. Okay, now he's talking about Apple Watch. Lots of applause. Whooping. Woo! #1 watch in the world. Motivates you to stay active, which is true. I love my Apple Watch. So WatchOS is something else that is of interest to the programmers there because it's something that you can program for. But I don't know how successful it is as a vehicle for other people's applications. I only use a couple of apps and I deleted all the rest. Kevin Lynch has come up. I wish Apple would open up watch faces to third-party developers. The gradient face, okay? Numeral face. Digital face. California dial. I don't have the California dial. Audiobooks on the watch and voice memos. 2 good applications for the watch. The calculator. The watch now looks like an old Casio. So now they're going to let programmers create independent applications that don't need the phone. Toothbrush app. Keep you brushing your teeth. Weird. I try to close my loops. I feel embarrassed. And now she's talking about hearing health. I blew my hearing listening to more than 50 rock concerts. The new Apple Watch will tell you how loud your surroundings are and will warn you saying that it's too loud. Of course, our family discussions, my parents were Hungarian, all our discussions were over 100 dB. So the ladies out there now get an app called Cycle Tracking. Oh, menstrual cycle. Oh, help with your fertility cycle. I wonder if it will track how long your lovemaking was. 2 minutes. You terrible lovemaker. You can't keep your erection for longer than 2 minutes. It's also going to show how many times you have faked a headache to not have sex with your partner. That's a good idea. WatchOS program lead Haley Allen. I would just like regular faces that looks like expensive watches. So you can listen to Major League Baseball games now. That would be good if the Blue Jays were actually doing well. Pride Edition watch bands. Apple is very woke. Here's Tim, the most powerful mobile operating system iOS. Here we come, Craig Federighi. Yes, he's a superstar. People are applauding. I think Craig is the only person who has a sense of humor. So performance is the #1 thing they updated in iOS 13. Oh, there you go. iOS dark mode. An entire video devoted to iOS dark mode. I need a standing ovation. Swipe typing on iOS, finally. Wow, what would Apple do without Android? Come on, let's get on to something more useful. Updated reminders on iOS, completely reinvented reminders. I'm going to have this explained to me. Craig is now talking about maps, updating maps. Here's a car going around mapping the world. Meg Frost, Director of Product Development. Building maps is a difficult thing to do. The only competitor, really, to Google Map is Apple Maps. So for that, I'm thankful. They've now added Look Around. It's a completely improved version of Street View. Apple's done a very nice job. Just given a dig to Google about privacy and the fact that you don't have to flip a switch to get Apple Maps to be private, whereas in Google Maps, it's not private out of the box. You have to go into the settings and make it private, which I think is stinky. Social account logins. Yes, we all love the social account logins. Don't sign in with Facebook or Google, sign in with Apple. Craig is saying that this sign in with Apple is way less nasty. I think it would have made sense if Apple had introduced this a long time ago. This is Apple's big pitch versus Android. If you are using Apple products or iOS, then you're going to have a secure experience compared to Android. Now, Craig is talking about Apple Home. I don't know how well HomeKit has been adopted in people's homes. I think the big problem is that HomePod, that Siri-based speaker, if you don't have that as your anchor, then why would you use any of the HomeKit products? You'll be able to take a video of your front porch, and then the video is encrypted and sent into iCloud. The video from your security cameras will not be included in your space on your iCloud. One of the concerns is that people are able to compromise your home devices through your router. So they're going to be adding Apple security to your router to prevent interlopers from gaining access to your light bulbs emojis. Oh no, it's a video. Now you can do eyeshadow and makeup emojis. It includes piercings. I think Apple is spending the most amount of money on its emojis. They've added hats, memoji stickers. See, I don't even know what stickers are. Oh God, do I stop recording this now? Oh, now we're at camera and photos. I hope they're going to upgrade the way we can share photos over photos, because it sucks. So new photo adjustments in photos. Very nice. So you're now able to do all these color corrections to video. I don't know how many people edit their videos on their iPhones or iPad devices. Anybody want to put up their hands? I've tried editing on my iPhone. That I can trim, but I don't think I'd spend a lot of time editing my video and update to the way we browse our photos. It's going to remove duplicates, which I like. I've got a lot of duplicates. Justin TD is going to now demo the new Photos app. Pinch to zoom for all photos, which makes sense. I've always wanted to be able to do that. They have something called Days Mode. You know what? I think Apple should be giving you great photos, so you don't have to take anything for yourself. Just pick a family that looks way better than you and has a much more interesting life than you, and they should provide an entire set of images. Every month they should have like an image pack of this family who lives a much more interesting and better life. And they just like send it to you, and you can show people saying, hey, there's my life. And they go, wow, you have a very interesting, exciting life. Stacy Lysick, Senior Program Product Manager of Apple. So they're going to actually talk about HomePod, eh? She's talking about AirPods first. Siri will read your messages to you. Oh, and then you can respond immediately without having to touch your AirPod. That's kind of cool. It makes the assumption that you want to respond. Audio sharing. Is this the old Samsung trick from the ad where you can tap your phones together and share something? Now Apple brings it. One of those ads that Samsung brought out to diss the people who were lining up for the Apple iPhones. Live radio for the HomePod. HomePod can learn who in your family is talking and personalize your response. I'm surprised that they haven't given up on HomePod. Now CarPlay. It's been a long time since they updated CarPlay. I think it was really important that they do that. They shouldn't have waited this long. They've updated the way Siri sounds. Neural tits. What? Oh, TTS. Siri is now able to speak to you more naturally. I still think that looks like neural tits. So now they're playing iOS 12. And yeah, it sounds very robot-y. Yes, they've done a great job. iOS 13 sounds fantastic. Siri sounds great. Siri, I think, could have ruled the world, and Apple dropped the ball on it. Separate iOS accounts for your work and your personal usage. Now, that's about time. What kind of changes does iPad get in iOS 13? So far, it's been all iPhone. We still haven't seen the Johnny Ive video. We brought out this product because it looks fantastic. It doesn't do anything, but that's what's beautiful about these new Apple products. They are pure, just pieces of metal and glass and plastic that do nothing. There's nothing more pure than that. Widgets on home screen. Finally. Seriously, what would iOS do without the competition from Android? He's talking about slide over. Oh, that's cool. So every single app that's on the right-hand side, you can get to very, very easily. Oh, neat. It's got an app switcher in slide over on the right-hand side. That's neat. Very, very cool. Files, oh my god. Folder sharing in iCloud. Sharing with your PC directly into the file system. You can plug in a thumb drive finally to transfer files over to an external disk drive. Toby Patterson, Senior Director of the iPad Experience, is giving a demo. Oh, this guy looks like a programmer, finally. You pinch the keyboard and you get a compact layout. As opposed to splitting the keyboard, you can now make it a tiny keyboard. He should have shaved his knuckles before this presentation. So it lets you do markup from any place in the iPad with any kind of application. Roche. It's not Rush, that's Roche. Okay, so that was a big, long presentation for iOS 13, which, I mean, that's what this show's about, right? What are we into now? Almost an hour and a half. He's talking Mac. We love the Mac, he yells. Mac is #1 in customer satisfaction. Maybe he's talking about the old Macs. Oh, they're yelling. He's trying to fill a gap, taking the Mac further than it's ever gone before. Okay, here it is. I can hardly breathe, finally, after all this time. Going to see a video. Oh, it's a turtle. It's Mystery Mac. Oh, it kind of looks like the Trashintosh. What's going on here? I'm scared. Oh, that's a grill. It's a bright light in my eye. Now, we've heard nothing about this. Oh my gosh! It looks like a regular fucking computer. Everybody's applauding. It looks like the cheese grater Mac. They've gone back to the cheese grater and improved it. The most powerful Mac we've ever created. John Turnus is going to tell us about the new Mac Pro. I'm sort of excited but disappointed too. Unlimited possibilities for customization. Stainless steel handle. This is not going to be light. It looks like you can open it up on multiple sides to get at your stuff. What's the processor? Brand new Intel Xeon processor. Up to 28 cores, 300 watts. So I think he's talking about 300 watts just for the processor. Oh, ECC memory. Fart. Up to 1.5 terabytes of system memory. Not enough for me. I was hoping for 3. PCI expansion back to the Mac. 8 PCIe slots. 4 double wide, 3 single wide slots. Very nice. Okay, 1 I/O card. That's how they're doing the Thunderbolt. 2 10 gig Ethernet ports. What graphic card are you going to be supporting? Now, is the Vega 2 the Vega 7? The Infinity Fabric Link, which is the same technology that's being used by AMD for their processors. These are PCIe linked modules. This is a serious workstation. Afterburner. What's Afterburner? Codec processing. Independent of the GPU. 3 streams of 8K ProRes RAW. 12 streams of 4K. Not enough. I need more than that for my vlog. Air-cooled computer. He claims that it's quiet. Aluminum case. Very nice, with a nice little latch. Oh, the 3-dimensional vents are machined by Voles. Woo! Optional wheels! Yeah! I think this is going to be a very heavy computer. These guys are all announcing support for the Mac Pro. Pretty clever to have a card just handling the codec. Still no support for NVIDIA, though. Now he's going to demo Logic Pro 10. I missed this guy's name. I'm doing a screenshot. I hope you can hear this audio. It's beautiful. 1,000 software tracks in Logic. I know who will want this machine. Now, here we have a Final Cut presentation. 8K live raw video playback. This is so different from the days when I tried to play back QuickTime in the 1" by 1/2" frame. All the rendering is live. live rendering of a bunch of effects in 8K. So Afterburner let him run 3 8K streams at the same time. Very impressive. I just want to know what the prices are. Okay, pricing. Let's get to pricing. Okay, now they're going to talk about the new display. Apparently no monitor so far provides professional level HDR. I'm not a big fan of HDR. $43,000 monitor for a reference monitor. Calibrated at the factory. Running out of battery. Okay, here we go. Here's the pricing. A 580 Radeon Pro. Not a lot of applause for the $6,000 price, base price. $5,000. Not a ton of applause on that either. It doesn't even come with the stand. What the fuck? It doesn't come with a stand? Pro stand? You've got to get a fucking Pro stand to be able to stand it up? Are they nuts? I knew there was going to be some kind of kick in the balls. Okay, now we're getting into Mac OS. The Mac Pro presentation kind of came to a crashing crash with the price announcements. Okay, Craig is going to talk about the new updates to Mac OS from desert to water. Mac OS Catalina. We already know what's happening with iTunes, right? It's going to be discontinued and separated into its different components. And PC people hate iTunes. Customers love iTunes. Really? And a lot of grumbling from the audience. So he's joking, adding calendar to iTunes. All of your sync options are in Finder. It's a good idea. It'll be interesting to see whether you have file access to your iPhone this way, because if it shows up on your Finder. I guess I've been soft. Well, that's what my wife says. And I don't even want to get into it. Now they're talking about Sidecar, using your iPad as a second display. Now they're talking about the accessibility features. I think the big news is going to be able to add a mouse to your iPad. This is a significant addition to the OS to let people with disabilities to use the computer. Wow, that's pretty impressive. The one thing I don't understand is Mac Pro announcement suddenly feels very muted. Perhaps no Mac could actually fulfill the expectations that we had for the device. Having it stuck into the end of the presentation and then talking about Mac OS afterwards, I think they made a really big mistake in terms of the way they've arranged this presentation. Catalyst is for developers who are trying to transfer their iOS apps over to the Mac. Where are we now? Stand. My watch is telling me to stand. And they're not done. Augmented reality. We're already past 2 hours. This is going to be a lot of work cutting this down. I'm sorry, this is why I think VR and AR is not going to work. I just can't see people doing this. Craig has just revealed Swift UI, a framework that now goes on top of Swift. The audience is really enjoying this. Clearly, it's a group of programmers, and they really understand what's going on here and appreciate it. Xcode Previews looks like it's going to be a solid addition to Swift UI. This is the most applause I have heard all through the presentation, except for the very initial introduction of the Mac Pro. Here we are, finishing off with Tim. Now we're up to 2 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you, Tim. I'm waving back to you. Do you see me, Tim? Well, there you are. That's my report from WWDC. Not from, I was there. I astral projected myself to California to bring you the presentation, but I'm now back. I'm back, I'm coming down, I've taken some Valium. It's going to take me a little bit of time. I'm going to just lie down, have a coffee, and then I'm going to edit all this together just for you. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it will be however long it is. Does that make sense? Anyways, denizens of the internet, so long.